Jeroen Drenth, 44 years old, born in Nijmegen, raised in Ghent, a little village in the neighborhood of Ghent. Always played football, what I really enjoyed. Winning and losing together as a team, of course. Nowadays living in Husse, it's a village in the neighborhood of Arnhem. Living together with Suzanne and our 4 children, Ethan, Mika, Mats and Yul. And apart from my family, I really love doing sports, all sort of sports. I love to do mountain biking. I play padel. I like running, and I'm also part of still in the field of football. I'm also part of the voetbalvereniging RKVV in the board and being responsible for the communication with all the members of the club. But also now we are working on a new accommodation, and so also the conversations with the government about realizing that sort of stuff. So also arranging things, bringing people together, connecting in all sort of stuff. Well, that's what I really like. So also with my friends, a little bit of connecting, a little bit of drinking, a little bit of eating. Also what I really love to do. Yes, of course. Started in 2003 during my studies. Studied economics in Nijmegen University. There I met 2 fellow students, and we decided to start a company together. And it was something in uitzenden, detacheren. And we did that for 6 years. Then I started within Hayes, a UK-based company. Also started with search and selection. Also with secondment, detacheren. And after 4 years started also with the outsourced services, MSP, RPO and brokering solutions. So that's also a very dedicated service to a specific client. And from that moment on, expanded that business and always worked in that sort of solutions we offered. After working several years within a corporate organization, where all procedures are in place, where all KPIs are defined, where it's also a matter of internal reporting, of managing KPIs, I thought in 2022-23 already, what did I always really enjoyed? And that is working with clients, working with people, and you need to be a little bit, crazy sometimes to see some challenges. And I love it when things are, the fundament is great, but it's also good when there is something to do and there is a journey to make with each other. And I really have a lot of respect for everything what Tamar and Andrea already did until now as owner of this organization. But then the next step from be an entrepreneur to manage your organization from a certain volume perspective, in which we are now in this phase of the organization, that's another total other ballgame. That's about HR, that's about procedures, that's about processes, that's about way of working, that's about motivation within people. That's also the entrepreneurial part, but also managing your own internal organization. And I think there's a lot of things to do from that point of view, and that's also where I'm good at what I love doing. So and that's also what I expect in my role, that we can make good steps on this topic, and that we can even grow bigger, grow better than what we already achieved until this moment. Yeah, so as a person, not especially as a leader, but also as a person, I think it's very essential that you can cooperate together, so that you as a person want to act as a team, and it's not only about your individual, but it's also about the broader picture you need to have in mind. And as a leader, also in this organization with all the department managers also in place, it's important that you need to have the ambition to make it a little bit better every day. And by taking little steps, you can achieve a lot during a year or during a couple of years. And when you have in the back of your mind that you want to make your colleagues or your team a little bit better every day, and it's not about you, but to facilitate it, then I think you can take really large steps as an organization. And my goal is also to create that way of thinking, that urgency also within the leaders in this organization, but also with every single individual, that it's important that we act as a team, that we share our knowledge, that we well, it's not a disaster if you make a mistake, but we also need to create an organization where you can make your mistakes and that you take your ownership, that you want to do it by yourself, but not without managing expectations internally, but also externally to a client. So yeah, I think that's what I did in the last years. That's what my experience is, and I think that's where I'm good at, and that's what I want to achieve with all the people here, because I think we have great people. And by acting as a team, we can be even better as an individual, but even more as a team, as an organization. Yeah. So what you see for this sort of organizations is that challenges are quite similar. Right? You start with a certain number of people. You start with a certain volume. Then you grow bigger. You grow bigger, and a certain moment of time, the expectations and the procedures and the responsibilities in these organizations can get a little bit fake, because okay, we grew and now I'm doing this, you are doing that, and I think it's very important that we create a very clear governance. So who's doing what, who's responsible for what, but also, and that's of course when again, Tamma, Andrea did a great job. They grew this organization, but at a certain moment of time, you also need to create ownership, and you need to create a clear governance also within the people in place. And we have clear departments, but now it's also time that we create ownership, we create leadership, and we have the right people in place also to let that grow. And again, we have already great people in with a lot of knowledge, but that needs to come out. People also well, need to trust on their own behavior and on their own knowledge, and we need to facilitate that. So I think that's one of our challenges at this moment. So at the one hand, let it loose a little bit, and at the other hand, let people with the right knowledge and the right behavior and attitude step in and take this company further forward. Yeah, so I think we have a really we have an operating model which is very competitive. We have our own local knowledge. We have our own local people with our own local sub-markets in which we attract our candidates. So it starts with an appreciation and the insight with everyone that is a really strong business case, and that we also need the appreciation and to appreciate all the people who are working there. And I think that's the first thing. Second thing is that we are really clear on what is the role of every single office. But at the other hand, it are all different sides of the same coin. In most of cases you have two sides of a coin. I think we as an organization, we have three sides of a coin. We have the Romanian, we have the Hungarian, we have the Dutch office. And now it's time that we have a clear procedure in place, and we also create a real well, a view on how does good look like. What do we expect? So from a sales and account management view, it's about, okay, what do our client want? What is the need of our client? How do we translate that to how do we recruit our people? And that needs to be also translated in how do we manage the expectations towards our candidates? How do we translate that to how we sell those candidates to our clients? But also the other way around, how do we create a clear view with our clients that what we are doing is not something like, okay, here we have our candidates. It's serious business. So we also create that insight to our clients. It's what we are doing, and that well, we need some ownership on that process. And when we say in that total process, well, we start recruiting a person, it's not a matter that we can say during the process, okay, let's stop, let's quit, it's not necessary anymore. No, it's quite a heavy process which we need to take ownership with, all of us. And I think it's very important that we create very clear role and responsibilities in the different offices, and then it's a matter of that we have a smoothly procedure and process in place that, okay, this part of the process is doing by this department, then we take over, and there's ownership from all those departments on what is doing, and that we keep on communicating with each other, also with the client. Here are we now, people are arriving in the Netherlands, okay, now we are organizing our housing and our mobility. This is what's happening. You can expect maybe a day later, maybe a day earlier, but that no one is surprised, and everyone is cooperating with each other to reach one goal, is that we double our business in 3 years' time. Yeah, so what I did is also not a rocket science. It's not about making chips or whatever. It's about achieving together as a team, achieve a goal. And you can say that's not a rocket science. At the other hand, you also see that in a lot of organizations, that's where the bottleneck is, cooperating. And so it's one side of it is that we enjoy working together as human beings, so a little bit of fun, a little bit of understanding each other, have that personal conversation, and also try to understand each other in the business we are moving. That's one, I think. Second is that it's also about having clear procedures, clear processes, clear internal and external KPIs around what do we expect from each other. So that's the way of working. 3 is, and I think we did already do a lot of good things in this organization, that we have the right tooling. So we work already with EY, we work with tooling, we work with software, we work with all sort of stuff to make our working life easier. And then it's also about how do you manage change? How do you make things happen? And I always think about, okay, 70% of what you're doing is running business. We have, with payroll, we have a weekly cycle. With account management, we have our cold selling, we have our meetings with our clients. But you also need to use 30% of your time to improve, to not think about are we doing the things in a good way, but also are we doing the good things. And I learned also in the past with a lot of large clients I worked for Heineken, for Friesland Campina, is that those clients are really into mainly two things. How can I let my customer buy my stuff? So it's about marketing, it's about selling yourself. And second of all, it's also how do I manage change? How do I make things possible? How am I sure that we will improve, we'll get better and better and better? And that experience, that combination is that, well, I think that I can bring that in, and that together with who I am, and I think I'm also good at creating a team, having the people looking into one direction. And of course that's not always easy and difficult, not difficult, because we're all human beings. And I think the most beautiful thing of this area where we are working in is that is the human factor. But yeah, you need to be clear, that's not a thing that you can say, no, you need to do this and everything will fall into pieces automatically. No, it's also about have those conversations with each other, be sure that the right people are on the right spot, and that experience I can also bring, and I'm fully confident with all the things we already have in place in this organization that is a perfect match. Yeah, so I think that is one of the most important things in an organization, that everyone feels connected with the organization, feels connected with what we are doing. So the most important thing is to start with, who are we? Who is Eastman? What is our reason for being? What is our why? And that everyone feels connected. And of course, if you don't want to connect or feel connected, that's also a possibility. But it starts with, where do I need to connect with? That's clear. Second of all, then it's of course the thing that that there are actions or activities or way of working that are connected with that reason for being, and that connected with that why, and that you need to be consequent and congruent in the way you are acting as an organization. And then it's the same as at home. You have your organization and your family with clear values or the way you should behave. That's the same here. And then you create a thing like, well, I fit in, and and it feels good, and then you can be successful, and then also your clients know what they can expect. If you think about Eastman, then it's clear what we can offer, how we act, and I think that's the most important thing. And it starts with, that we as an organization starts with telling what we think it's important, and that we always collecting the feedback of our people and our clients. We all do a lot of great stuff with surveys, with NPS, with the NPS, with the MP scores. I think we need to even do that more, and to keep on talking about who are we, what do we want, and then we create that community of Eastman, and I think then people want to join. If it's our clients, if it's our people who want to work here, or candidates who are working for us, then it's not a matter of only earning money and, okay, it's now that I have a vacancy or a job. No, I want to be part of that community. Yeah, there is a lot. From an HR perspective, we are now talking about how can we even improve our HR policies around attracting and expanding our workforce. How can we make sure that they want to work with us? So that's a very interesting and important one. Of course, with the marketing department, I think marketing is one of the key success factors in this situation as we are as in the world and in the marketplace, for people to say, okay, you need to attract. You don't need to post and pray, but you need to attract, and you need to create a situation that people want to come to you, and why do they want to stay to you? And it's also about what do you say, what do you tell, what are the stories we want to tell. And I think we already have a lot of great stories. Last week there was a guy here at the office, he's already working for 5 years here, and he was so proud to work with us. But that's the other way around. We need to make him proud. That proudness that also need to come out, and we also need that good feeling. We need to show that to him, that we really appreciate that, and that interaction with each other, that's important. That I also see that as a marketing thing. From a sales and account management perspective, let's be proud of who we are, and it's not only a matter of only to say yes to all sort of opportunities, but it's also good to be very strong on what we can do, but also what we can't do. From a recruitment perspective, how can we even automate or optimize our procedures even more, and that because there's so much potential. We have a great recruitment department, and at the same time, as I see how many candidates there are still walking outside who we don't know, and it's very clear, when you have the candidate, you have the market. So that's also a lot of things to win there. So again, and that's also because of the fact that the fundament is great here, but to build the house from a HR, from a marketing, from a finance, from a sales perspective, those are all very interesting projects to work on. That's my problem. I don't have a thing which I don't like. So I like all sort of beers, all sort of wine, all sort of food. The challenge is more to say, okay, don't eat and drink everything, but I like and I eat and I drink everything. Only add the soup. Add the soup is a little bit not so good, but for the rest of it, I eat and drink everything. Well, I really enjoy working here for now. I started 4-5 weeks ago, and up front I had a lot of interesting conversations with also a lot of people who were already well involved in this organization. But I really enjoy working with you all, and I hope well, we can have a bright future together. And I would say, take your ownership. Be proud of who you are and where you work from, where you work for, and well, we make it a success together.